Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before we do start, let us give a brief little review. In the last part, a number of things have happened. Now, we had Deku. Deku, he's under mind control. Because of course, any good supervillain always has the brainwashing card right in their back pocket, tucked right there in the wallet. Well, yeah. The Queen Spider, she's taking control of Deku. She's also taking control of Anya and a few other people. She has shown that her powers, they may not be physical. Yes, she does have a form of super strength and super durability, but they are nowhere compared to the rest of the other spider individuals. She has the ability to control them, manipulate them, look through their eyes and look through their minds. And the best way of saying it, she's the queen of the hive. And that does mean quite a lot. Now, with that being said, Deku encountered Kane. He told the man quite a few things. He even talked to a few other people in the Spider family. He talked to Jessica, and he even tried to talk to Julia. However, they went into retreat after Deku threw Kane out of a window after breaking his back and his arms. And Ochako, she made the smart call. They can't handle this right now. They might be able to take down Deku, but the Queen is another story. She could feel her spider sense going off, reacting, and she does not like it. So she did one thing quite simple. Shot two webs at the two and threw herself out of the window. She made them all retreat. And that, ironically, was the safest thing for them to do. They were not aware as to who else was in that room with them. Now, with that being said, we do currently cut to the heroes in the Avengers Tower. They were informed as to everything. Kane was given medical attention, and they tried to go back to that high rise. However, everybody was already gone, and that does worry them. Because there was only one thing there, a video, a tape. And Kane was not ready to hear what was on it. Now, there actually is Mr. Stark. Right now, they have New York sectioned off. The entire island is, well, very soon going to be full of infected. And it's not a bad thing yet, but it's getting there. Crime is on the rise, and the police force, they're not too sure how to deal with this. Hospitals are starting to be overrun, and that's the problem. People don't know how to control these powers yet. Whenever they do get a handle on them, things will die down for a second. But that's the issue. I mean, the military is being brought in, and the government, they're trying to figure out what to do. So far, they have drop centers put together and places where supplies will be brought out to people. But that's a whole other story. And SHIELD. SHIELD is monitoring the airspace. If anyone tries to leave that island and they have spider abilities, they are on an immediate termination list. And the water? The water might have to have chemicals poured into it so that it doesn't get into New York City's water line, in case a drop of blood gets inside of it. Or God forbid the spider virus. If this spreads to the entirety of the world, no one is prepared for what might happen. And that's an issue. Now, we do currently have Kane. Kane is lying in bed, and he's got a lot on his mind. They've got to talk to Cindy, tell her the bad news, and break it to her. But he wants to hide it. She's almost halfway along, and putting that kind of stress on her, yes, she's super, but it might still harm the baby, right? Damn it. He should talk to Black Cat. I mean, figure a few things out, talk to her, and no, she doesn't know too much about that. Okay. But what else could he do then? Something helpful? Kane, I'm gonna turn. As right now, Tony Stark is gonna walk in. him with a few other of the Avengers. And Kane, well, he does lay there. They're actually Steve Rogers. Steve just gonna walk up and tell him. They found a lot of information, and they've also found a few other things. They're not too sure exactly how he'll react to it, but, well, Jarvis. Yes, Mr. Rogers. Pull up a screen in front of Kane. Allow him to see what we've found. Any timestamp in particular? 0. The beginning. This being where the screen is going to pop up. And Kane is going to watch. As currently some of the Avengers, they're out looking for the Queen Spider. And she has been elusive. Now, Kane is going to watch. The Queen just sit there. And she just begins to talk. It's quite something, isn't it? She has been doing quite a lot for years. She has been doing things that would be helpful. Things that could say quite a bit. She's been hiding for a long, long time. But now she's back in the open. It's very nice to see Mr. Rogers again. I mean, Steve was always something else. Does he remember her? Does he not know her? They met before, briefly. But at the same time, it should have been apparent. She knew Bucky at one point, and that was something else. During the 60s, where they were experimenting on her. They did quite a lot. It wasn't apparent, but she discovered it. Her powers, her abilities. And she hid. She hid all of that. S.H.I.E.L.D. tried to find her. But tech wasn't as advanced back then. So, slipping away and escaping was as simple as going to the next town. Or 5. Or several. Or just halfway around the fucking country. Maybe even just go back to Japan. It was all so simple. It was all easy. They tried to control her. But they didn't know about her abilities. They would have. She knows it. She knows what they like to do with every single superpowered person they can't control. Lock them up, detain them, make excuses and hide behind paperwork. Well, guess what? Now they have a problem. Now they can't do that. There are, 10,000 people on that island? 20,000? She doesn't know the exact number. She does know that it's a lot, though. And if one of those people escape, it will cause problems, won't it? So, what are they planning to do? It took almost 2 months for the entirety of the island to begin to be infected. But what about a more rapid strain? I mean, her friend has made improvements. Jackal has made improvements. And adding Izuku's DNA, him stepping into the light, it only helps further what they plan to do. New York will become the weakest link, while the rest of the world becomes the strongest. What do they think? She's actually very intrigued to find out what will happen. Mutants be infected? It's not possible yet, but there might be that one lucky mutant. I mean, she has looked into editing certain genes, giving them to her strongest right here. This being where Ben does step out. Him with the appearance of a massive monster. A massive man spider. It bulky, with multiple arms, and spider legs protruding from his back. And that does say quite a bit, as the Queen is going to introduce his old friend, Ben and Anya. Anya actually going to somewhat fall down from the ceiling. Her going to walk directly up to Deku as Deku does a turn. Him going to bring out his hand, and Anya does actually going to somewhat lean in towards Deku. And Deku does actually going to start talking. I'm going to step forwards. He does have to say quite a lot about Kane. And whoever else is listening. None of them helped at all. None of them have tried to do what they can. He has done quite a bit. He sacrificed quite a lot to be a superhero. And now, he wants it all back. He lost his father and Toga. Cain remembers that much. But he has yet to know about their mother. Cain gonna freeze. As Deku will continue. The queen threatened his mother. And while he might think that that might be the reason why he's doing all this, he doesn't want Cain to know. This being where a monitor is gonna pop up. Deku gonna step backwards as he's gonna hold up the laptop. It's showing the video. Cain watches Ben kill their mother. And Cain is gonna turn his head. Him looking away as the video is gonna pause. And Captain America is gonna continue. It goes on for several more minutes, exactly like this. They outline their plans, talk about it. And Izuku, he gives off everything. He spouts off nonsense. He messes with their heads. The queen clearly has gotten into his. And that's an issue. So far, they've not found a trace. And they were hoping to know if he... Shut up. What? I just need a second. When is my back going to be healed? 4 days. Your arms are more like 3, but so far we don't got much. Stark, make me a robotic back right the fuck now. Give me an Iron Man suit. Part of it, the torso. I know you have technology to fix me. Kid, your back will be fixed on its own. I don't think that's the best idea. Besides, with your healing factor, if I interrupt the process, then I don't care, damn it! Now, Cain does try to set up. Him grunting heavily, as right now he does get about halfway up before he is going to fall back down. Him feeling the amount of pain hit him, because it just cut straight through his painkillers. Now, Cain does continue rambling, yelling at them. Get him to his fucking feet. Get him to his feet. He knows someone who can help them. He knows someone who can do something. And right now, Deku, he does gonna stand there. Him with his hands up and somebody across from him. And they do go to inform him. They're gonna continue this again until he gets it right. And Deku is gonna rush forwards. The person going to dodge, bring their hand up, and smack his arm out of the air. Them going to bring their hand up and smash him directly across the ribs. Going to bring up their other hand and smashing him across the face. Before, Deku is sent flying backwards through the air. Him flying through the air, smashing onto the wall, and leaping off of it. Throwing out his hands and going to actually shoot out multiple webs. The person dodging the first two and going to bring up their hand. Them actually punching into the third one as the grenade is going to explode, covering their entire body. And Deku is going to rush forwards. Him smashing Yuki into them and flying into the ground. The person kicking out their leg and kicking Deku up into the air. Him smashing into the ceiling, throwing his hands out and sticking to it. Him going to sit there as he actually going to pull out his spikes and rush forwards down. Him dodging, the person dodging out of the way of Deku, stabbing his spikes down to the ground. And going to turn, kicking into one of the spikes, destroying it. Deku screaming out and turning, throwing out the spike and lashing out with it to attack. And the person is going to dodge, before the queen is going to inform both of them. Stop. Deku freezing, as so does the other person. The spike directly up to their chin. And Deku, he does think about driving it forwards, puncturing their neck and killing them. As the queen informs them, they have a meeting. They're going to be talking to someone, and she does want both of them to stop. If they are going to continue, they need to be aware. She is paying him good money. And Izuku, he can't kill this one. Why not? I know who he is. He's just a cheap fucking imitation. Kid, you might want to be careful what you say next. Why? Afraid I'm gonna kill you? Huh. Intimidation doesn't work on me, Taskmaster. I can bench press almost 30 tons. You really want to try and fuck with me? Kid, there are still easy enough ways to kill you. You're good, but you're not trained. That's what I'm here for. Please, train me all you can. Please show me what you can do. By all accounts, I'm done. Listen, I have given enough to this city. I get stepped on, yelled at, ridiculed, and demonized by the public. So guess what? I'm going to take back my city. The right way. The proper way. Rule it like a king and live in an ivory tower. Sounds nice. It certainly does. Taskmaster turning to the queen, and she's going to inform him. They have much to do. However, right now, they need to meet with an ally of theirs, a friend, and then go forward with all of that. Then see how things do go. And there currently is the queen, who, she's going to head out. Her going to take Deku to meet the jackal. Now, well, that's all happening. We do cut back to Kane. Kane, he is given some help. He was moved over to a wheelchair where he was allowed to leave, quote unquote. Right now, Kane, he is talking to a lot of people, and some of them are trying to get a lot of things in order. However, Cindy did not like being left out of the loop. And whenever Madame Web showed up to Cindy's apartment, she tried to tell her what she could with her foresight, or her spider sight into the web. Now, Cindy was left alarmed and annoyed, and whenever she tried to call into the Avengers Tower, nothing really happened. So she swung over there, and that made a lot more people surprised, because some didn't realize that Silk was apparently, you know, getting there. And right now, Cindy, she's very, very adamant about finding out the situation with Izuku. And everyone, they're trying to figure out exactly what to do with that. However, Kane made things quite clear. And Madame Web was annoyed. She wanted the Avengers to actually do a few things. Work properly with S.H.I.E.L.D. Because S.H.I.E.L.D., they have somebody who could be their answer to all of this. Now, we do actually cut over to Bakugo Katsuki. Bakugo Katsuki has been moving in the background, doing a lot in the background. And he's definitely been put through the ringer. They want to control him. They want to stop him. S.H.I.E.L.D. wants Bakugo, to be a hero. They want Venom to become something different. They try to control him, not give the symbiote its free will. And Bakugo, he knew that that was a bad idea. And right now he has to track down somebody. Somebody who they've definitely done something different. There was an accident at one point. The Cletus Cassidy incident. It was believed that Cletus Cassidy, his symbiote, it had a spawn. And if that was the case, that could be a problem. No one knows where it might have gone to. However, there's actually Venom. Venom pops something out. But it may not have been another symbiote. It might have just been an accident. Scientists experimented with it, and they did what they could. They wanted to see if they could hybridize a symbiote with technology. See exactly if they can control it the way they want to. And the best way of saying it, make something like nanites that isn't nanites. A wearable, docile, and controllable symbiote. That was the goal. But what they got instead was something different. They got Venom. Just different. And that did help out in the end. Because S.H.I.E.L.D., they got something that they can control. However, it still does have a mind of its own. And that mind is simple. As Bakugo to sit there, waiting, in the shadows, watching Agent Anti-Venom. Now, Anti-Venom is doing quite a lot. And Bakugo, he does it to watch on. The guy is actually able to be a cure. Actually able to help. He can intervene. Stop all of this. But it's a problem. It could definitely cause more harm. People are being cured and left immune to the spider virus. So he needs a sample. No, no. He needs to bring in the entire person. And that is definitely going to be a problem. As Blocko, he is going to leap down to talk to Anti-Venom. Now, we do cut back over to Izuku. Izuku is told a few things, and given a task. He is to capture someone, bring them in, and see how things go. And Deku, he was told exactly where to go to. Right now, the Hulk isn't in New York. Bruce Banner is somewhere on the run, away from the city. And Thor is up to some divine business, maybe? Somewhere out there in space. And that leaves humans, mutants, and powered individuals. People Deku knows very well. Some of them he doesn't. But some of them he knows could definitely be a threat. Now, a few days start to pass, and people, they are starting to get a bit more concerned. At first, Deku, he didn't pop up. Cindy went back home. Kane got back onto his feet. But Madam Web had to get a few things in order. Make peace. She sees a potential future where she'll die. She sees a potential future where Deku, he attacks the Avengers Tower. And that future, it is crystal clear in her mind. She has to be at the tower. Cindy has to be there. Everyone has to be there. Kane included. And that does give her an opportunity. She tells the Avengers about what to do, what will happen, and she begins to make peace. She's old. She's blind. She can't fight. But she can pass on her knowledge. Give somebody a way to look into the web. Give them a crystal clear image, understanding. And right now, Madam Web, she calls for Julia. Over the course of the next few days, she does tell her a few things. She gets her ready. Mentally, she tries to prepare her. And there is where she does try to pass off her gift. She tries to allow Julia access to the web. But that's easier said than done. She has to try and focus on that part of her mind. Tap into it. See it for herself. And Julia, she does try to do so with great effort. However, right now, as she has sit there in the Avengers Tower, an alarm is going to go off. And everyone, they're alert. As Madam Web, she's going to turn. Julia jumping up, as the old woman does get comfortable. She sits there and goes to sip on her tea. Her going to close her eyes. And right now, outside, the alarms, they blared. Because right now, Ben, Deku, and Anya, they all do stand there, along with a few individuals who they do look a bit more surprising. Now, right now the Queen does get to order all of them. Attack the tower directly, and divide the defenses. And Deku's going to step forwards, him rushing the tower doors. As there is he does a dodge, move out of the way, and try to evade. He tries to get out of the way of the automated turrets. However, Deku, his body armor does protect him. Him smashing the door and going through. As he is met by a few people. He's met by most of the Avengers. And Deku's gonna laugh. Him gonna bring his hand up. Him firing off a web as they go flying through the air. And Mr. Stark is gonna bring his hand up. Him gonna try and blast out of the air as Deku fired a few more. And everyone, they're a bit more alarmed. The walls are covered in webs. And then, their actors Anya is going to rush in, her moving forwards fast. And the Avengers, they do a rush forwards. Steve Rogers, Jessica Drew, Iron Man, and let's say a few other people. Like Luke Cage, Wolverine, and Hmm. Yeah, let's say about that many people. Now, everyone they do move in. And Madam Web does have a few ideas. Steve Rogers is a very good candidate as a super soldier. Give him spider abilities and aim him to the same degree as Ben, there's no telling what can happen. There's no telling what can be done. And right now, Deku, he lays waste into the Avengers. Tony Stark was a simple idea. He tore the man apart in his armor. And Deku, whenever Iron Man came rushing at him along with Steve Rogers, Deku threw up his hand. Him smashing out a flat palm directly into Captain America's shield. Him sticking his hand to it and going to pull it back. As whenever Captain America he let go of the shield, he was surprised. Deku turning it to Iron Man as Iron Man is going to blast at Deku. And Deku does a rush forwards. Him smacking Steve Rogers across the face as sending him flying into a wall. Right now, him going to hit the ground as Deku is going to rush at Iron Man. Him going to bring his hand down into his pocket. And Iron Man, he does try to hit Deku. But Deku does go to rush forwards. Him throwing out his hand and smashing directly a device into the arc reactor. Before Iron Man, his armor does going to fry, and right now he does hit the ground. Him and a bona fide tin can. And Deku's going to look at everybody else. Him going to spin the shield around and express. You know, he always did like this thing. Then again, taking a picture with it, definitely not an option. I'm going to turn and chuck it down the hallway. And right now it is going to actually crack into the wall as it's going to move. The metal frisbee of death heading towards a lot of people. Now, Wolverine just tried to duck. Him being smashed in the side by the frisbee, as right now he has fallen to the ground. Deku looking at a few of the people. Jessica rushing forwards. And where Jessica is going to throw out a punch, Deku's going to bring his hand up. Him going to catch it, and actually to bring up his other hand, smashing her directly into the gut, and making her kill over in pain. Her falling forwards as Deku does bring his hand out. Grabbing Doki at her throat, I'm going to pull her up into the air, smashing her down as hard as he can. And right as the floor is going to crack, Jessica does going to lay there. Her in a small crater. Before Deku's to turn back to Logan. And Logan, he got to his feet, pulling free the metal frisbee. And Deku does it to watch Wolverine. The man comes rushing towards him. But Deku does it to bring up his hands, shooting webs directly into his face, and then going to shoot them into his arm. Him going to web up multiple strings to the wall. As Deku is going to rush forwards. Logan, stuck there, as Deku does to bring his hand out, smashing across Logan, directly in his chest. Him feeling the adamantium underneath. For Deku does to bring his hand up. Him smashing Logan directly into the ears and going to look him in the eyes, expressing to him, you know, it's all about the adamantium skeleton and the strength. Leave him immobile, and he's practically useless. Stronger than a normal human. Captain America levels, right? He could tear through steel with his claws. But that's the thing. That's only the claws. That's his bare hands, though, isn't it? The metal definitely helps. What is it at? 100 pounds? 120? 150? Great effort. If he was a normal human, he would be immobile. He'll tell Logan this. He'll knock him out with a lack of oxygen, then toss him into the river. Then he won't be a problem anymore. And Logan's a bit more surprised. Deku pulling back his fist and smashing Logan with a lot of force in the face. And Logan, he has to pass out from his brain, be knocked around by more than 20 tons of force to the face. Now, Logan goes to fall unconscious. And Deku is going to turn. Luke Cage right now trying to handle Anya, as Deku is going to turn and walk forwards, expressing a few things to Luke. Now, it's quite clear. The Avengers, they weren't at full capacity. More of the heavy-hitting heroes are out trying to stop crime. And that means a number of things. And Deku currently is going to walk through the tower. Him searching for Madam Web. Now, right now Juliet is going to sit there. Her trying to talk to the old lady. Trying to ask for anything. Any advice. Any way to be the new Madam Web. And that's where things are a bit more complicated. The old woman does try to inform her as to much. Until eventually the door, it does get a break open. And Deku, he's going to turn and toss it. Him sitting there, as right now Madame Web, she actually doesn't try and stand under her own feet. She's going to meet it, the end, with dignity. She won't cry or scream. She won't be afraid. She will meet it on her own terms. She's already seen this for a few days, and knowing it's going to come, knowing that this is going to be her last act, she will face it without running. And Aunt Julia, she's going to sit there, her trying to respect the woman's wishes. And Deku, he doesn't have the spike get retracted from his arm. Him telling Madame Web, she should really know. Things didn't go the way she wanted. I mean, he did take his training seriously, but now he's got a good teacher. He's got somebody who can tell him quite a lot. I mean, everybody back down there, they've got combat potential, yeah. Training, yeah. But when it comes to serious firepower, he's got them outmatched. He's smarter than them, stronger than them, and more cunning. Steve taught him stealth tactics. I mean, it's why he's so good at sneaking around. But now it's done. Deku's doing forwards, thrusting the blade upwards into Madame Web's chest. And under the old woman, she's gonna fall backwards dead. Her hitting the ground as Julia does it keep herself there. Her looking down. And right now Deku does a turn to her. Hi, Julia. Just leave already. No. I want to know, what exactly do you feel? Deku's stepping forwards and going to bend down, looking directly at her. What exactly is going through your mind? You know, me and you, we stopped talking about it. But the kiss we shared, what did it mean to you? I know it meant something. You wanted to be seen. You still want to be me. But now, do you just want to be with me? Another imitation. Just like Cain. You know, I always thought it was weird. Female clone, me being a teenager. Tons of weird shit went through my head. I mean, the kiss. You had a lot of, what was it again? Emotions, thoughts going through your mind. So tell me, now that we both know it was pheromones, how do you feel? I mean, I know I'm probably admitting some right now, but those are for Cindy. And they were, actually. But now they're for Andriana, the Spider Queen. She's in your head. No, she isn't. I'm in her pants. That's how that works. You betrayed Cindy. I didn't betray her. I just know what I'm supposed to do now. You hesitated. I did, didn't I? But what does that tell you? Cindy gonna actually step out with Cain. And right now Deku does a turn his head, hearing her voice. As Deku does a turn and see her, Cain turn to express. So, what is he gonna do now? Break his back again? Kill his wife? Kill his child? He knows that Deku, he's under mind control. So he does apologize for this. Deku gonna stare directly at Cindy. Her staring at him. And Deku does see how things are. And for a second his mind, Deku is going to step back confused, bring his hand to his head. And right now whenever Deku is going to fall silent, Julia does actually turn, her grabbing the device she has hidden under her leg. And now she's going to turn and throw it upwards directly into Deku's back, him being hit with a massive electric shock as Deku does a turn, backhanding Julia and sending her through the wall. Him going to turn as Cain is going to rush towards him. And Deku and Cain do going to begin their battle. Now, there actually is the Queen Spider. The Queen Spider, she could feel Madame Web die. Something inside of her. It knew. It could feel the king take her life. And right now, Deku, he's locked in combat. He's harmed. He's being hurt. And Deku is going to face off against Kane. Him knocking Kane around. And Kane, yeah, the two are going back and forth, left, right, and, well, throwing out the occasional leg. The two are talking the whole time, though. Kane is trying to talk Deku down, get him to throw down his arms and just stop. Stop trying to fight. And right now, Deku does a send Kane flung across the room with a left hook. Kane being sent smashing directly into the wall and breaking through it. Him gonna get back up and turn. Him gonna actually grab a metal pipe and turn and chuck it directly at Deku. And Deku, he actually does a look directly at Kane. Him dodging out of the way as he's kicked directly in the back. Him falling forwards and turning. Before he actually does a turn with a spike in his hand and throw it out. Him actually gonna slash directly at Cindy. Cindy throwing herself backwards and being cut in the face. Her taking a step backwards as Deku, he actually does a turn and look at her. Him about to rush her and throwing the spike outwards. However, there is where Deku, the spike stops in front of her. And his arm isn't moving. And Cindy just gets stare at Deku. Her holding her hands out. Telling him, do it. Betray her. She spent years locked in a bunker. And he helped her. He loved her. She loves him. What is he gonna do? What is he gonna do? And Deku just stand there, his eyes full of hatred. Him trying to move his arm forwards, but the spike doesn't go. And their actions with the arm, there's actually gonna turn and punch Deku across the face. And right now, Kane and Julia, they're gonna stare at that. Deku is trying to fight his own hand. And that does say a lot, right? The two are gonna move in. Now, currently Deku, he does try to face off against the two. However, he's fighting with one arm and without his spider sense. And that does mean quite a lot. And that's what the two, they have the advantage. They're dodging out of the way. Deku trying to use one of his arms to fight. And the other arm, it is not reacting. Not doing too much. It's trying to stop him, restrain him. It shoots its own webs at its feet. And that actually is where Kane is going to rush in. Him throwing his hand out, and right now smashing Deku with an uppercut. However, Deku, he actually does a turn. Him throwing his hand outwards and stabbing Kane directly up in the chest. Him pulling up into the air, as right now Kane does look down at Deku. Him going to apologize, smashing his arms as hard as he can into Deku's ears. And Deku just feels his entire brain shake. Him going to scream out, whenever he turned and threw Kane across the room. Him going to get sent flying and landing with a massive chest wound into the wall. Now, someone went to go run over to check on him. And Deku, he turned his head to look around. What's going on? Where is he? That smell. He knows that smell. That's Cindy. Where is he? Now, Deku is looking around the room, and he does set his eyes directly on Kane, staring at the massive chest wound where his heart should be. And Deku does look down, seeing that there's blood on the spike protruding from his arm. And Deku just goes to scream out. Before everyone, they're going to turn and look at him. Now, someone does come into the room, as there is Anya. Anya does come into the room dragging someone, and expressing, she found someone for the queen to change. And Deku's going to turn his head. Him at least going to say her name out loud. And there's where everyone, they do look back. As Deku, he came to his senses. And Kane is trying to whisper something. He's trying to whisper for them to at least tell Black Cat something. Tell them his name. Tell her who he was. And tell her that he's sorry. Now, Kane does start to fade. And their actions were Anya does go to rush in. She has the idea to take Julia and Cindy for a project. And Deku, looking at this massive thing rush towards the two of them, he actually does a turn. Him actually going to rush out and stab his hand outwards into Anya's head. Him, right now, going to knock her down to the ground as she actually starts to fade. And Deku, he has to turn back to look at her. Everyone turning their attention towards Deku. And Deku, he has to look down at his hands, watching the body go to fall. As he has to turn. There's so many things going through his mind. So many different things rushing through them. And Deku, he has to hear the voice. He wasn't supposed to do that. No, shut up. Get out of my head. Everyone turned to him. And right now, Julia and Cindy, the two stare. Deku just killed Kane and Anya. And that is not good. And the two, they do look at each other. Julia gonna get back up. Right now, Deku's clutching his head, and he's hearing someone in his mind. Deku gonna turn to see Julia. Her rushing forwards and gonna grab at his wrist. Her trying to tell him, focus on her voice. Shut up, 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 shut up. Him yelling out angrily. And everyone, they're looking at him. The Queen's pheromones are still in his system. Well, let's just call it virus being used to control him. And that has been quite a bit. However, as she's trying to give him orders like a drone, Deku, he's in the presence of Cindy. And her pheromones, a true spider queen, they're messing with his mind as well. And Deku, he actually did a turn, backhanding Julia across the room. Him screaming out he's gonna fall into the ground. And right now, Deku, there is where he does want to have his head go limp. Someone just gonna sit there, unresponsive. And Julia does try to get back up. She's concerned with trying to approach Deku. Deku killed that monster. But he called it Anya. The thing rushing towards them. I mean, if that's Anya, then what did they do to her? What did they do to him? Now, Julia does get back on her feet. However, there actually is a loud sonic scream. It piercing the room as someone does come to walk through the door. And the wall just starts to break and crack. It being to fall apart as the hulking monster is going to walk in. It going to elongate out one of its tendrils. It going to directly grab onto Deku and pull him backwards towards the Queen. Her going to actually bring her hands out and grab onto Deku. Her going to hold him. Bring her hand up and going to actually move some of the hair out of his face. Expressing. She's very sorry. But it does appear that things have been difficult. He needs more time to adjust to me. You. I smell you. Her turning to Cindy. And Cindy has to get back up. Her ears still ringing. The woman gonna open her mouth as Cindy is gonna web up her ears. And the woman is just gonna smile. Intelligent. Cindy gonna turn and directly bust through the wall with her arm. Her looking towards Julia, yelling at her about what to do. And Julia does actually turn looking at Cindy. She just don't understand. The wall open and clear. They need to get out of here. However, Julia's gonna turn back, looking at Deku. As a Spider Queen, does just want morphin change. And that does make her a bit more concerned. As a spider tendril is going to shoot out towards Julia. Julia going to dodge out of the way and throw herself out of the building. Her looking to see the Queen retract the tendril and go to turn her attention back down towards Deku. Her going to whisper something into his ear. Julia going to fall fast. And right now, she's going to throw out her hand and swing backwards. Her going to swing upwards and spin. Her throwing her hands out and crashing into a building. Her safe but alive. Now, that has caused quite a lot of problems. And the Avengers are trying to deal with that. An enhanced Spider-Man, an enhanced Spider-Girl, and an enhanced Scarlet Spider. I mean, they just weren't prepared. None of them were for whatever the hell this was. The screaming, the sounds, all of it. And a few of them were captured. It's definitely going bad. It's all going bad. And Tony Stark, whenever he does get the ability to move again, he does find both Ben and Anya. And Anya, She's definitely a rare specimen. At first, they thought that this was some sort of spider given human attributes, but the more they started to dive into things, analyze DNA and blood, this isn't the case. This is a human base, an enhanced human as the base. And that, whenever they corresponded it to Shield records, they found Anya. And it definitely wasn't good. As for Kane, Kane's dead. And Julia is the new Madam Web. She has a lot to do, a lot to think about, and a lot to look at. The future is in peril. The web is in peril. And she needs help. She needs a lot of help. The heroes might not be able to handle this, and Cindy is stressing out. Cindy is frenzied in a panic. Deku is under the control of that witch, and she has him going insane. There's no other way to describe that. He almost killed her with a punch. If he just had the spike out, he could have cut her throat. But she was lucky. Kane wasn't. And now she's concerned. Deku's still in her web. And right now there actually is Deku. Deku, he found himself back in reality. But now he's back in a dream world. One that shouldn't exist. And that's an issue. As currently Deku does go lay there. Him hearing a sound, I'm gonna open his eyes. Him gonna sit up and... Oh man. Ugh. Ugh. It's your turn. I know. God. What time is it? I don't know, but it's your turn. Go take care of the baby. I will. I'm gonna turn and stand up, walking down the hallway. Now, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.